what we're seeing is most of these leaders aren't motivated by the truth. They aren't motivated by communicating truth and teaching truth, because if they were, they would very quickly and clearly and explicitly say exactly what they believe. They would give their arguments, and they would stay put on that position until they were defeated in sound debate.
So Jacob summarized this to me. He said good leadership means picking up position and sticking to it. Jacob, where are some specific examples that we could look at in the society and in church today where people are failing to do that?
Off the top of my head, a good example would be like Mark Dever and Jonathan Leeman, where they seem to have flip-flopped all over the place on the issue of voting and the morality of voting. A few years ago, it seemed like they were saying, it doesn't really matter. People have different moral calculus. You should love your brother who votes Democrat. And a lot of their moral reasoning was, well, there's a lot of Black people who vote Democrat, and we don't want to demonize our Black brothers and sisters. And so, we can't say that it's a sin to vote Democrat. In fact, that they were even hinting that there's issues of justice, systemic justice, and things like that Democrats are better than Republicans on. And that raises a lot of questions right there. But set that aside, they were basically saying that it's okay to vote Democrat a few years ago. Now, today, it sounds like they're kind of maybe sort of taking that back, but they won't come out and just declare explicitly what their position is and why. And that's the problem. That's what we need more leaders to do. So I would respect Mark Dever and Jonathan Leeman a lot more if they would just say, look, we believe that it's okay to vote Democrat in this context, XYZ, for these reasons, XYZ. Here's our argument. We're planting a flag here. We're being explicit and clear, and we're inviting anybody who disagrees with us to give us the reasons for disagreement. We're planting a flag. This is our position. Like, I would respect that a lot more than the snake-like hinting and beating around the bush and, we're not going to really say that you can't vote Democrat, but we're not going to say that you can. And you got to kind of guess what our position is. J.D. Greear did this recently with the gender justice phrase, right? He used the term gender justice on Twitter, and James White commented and said, JD, what do you mean by that? Can you please define what you mean by gender justice? And J.D. Greear came back, I am shocked. I am surprised that anybody would question what I might mean by this term. I have affirmed this statement and this statement and this statement. I have been a stalwart conservative for dinner, and he's got this whole long art, and he never defines the term. He hints, he beats around the bush, he acts offended, he gives all these implications and accusations, but he never defines the term. He never does the simple thing that James White asked him to do, which is just, can you give me a definition? So that's the problem. That's what we're lacking in the church today, is men who are willing to just take a position, to say it clearly, explicitly, and then to stick to it and defend it, right? If you want to say, J.D. Greear, that it's an injustice for that women aren't paid as much as men, that's true, and that there's systemic injustice going on about it. Or if you want to say that women should be allowed to preach in the church, and that's the war against women preaching in the church is an instance of gender injustice. If you want to say that, just come out and say it. We all know the reason he wouldn't, if that is what he believes, because he'd lose his job. And rightfully so. But if you care about truth, then that shouldn't stop you, right? So what we're seeing is most of these leaders aren't motivated by the truth. They aren't motivated by communicating truth and teaching truth, because if they were, they would very quickly and clearly and explicitly say exactly what they believe. They would give their arguments, and they would stay put on that position until they were defeated in sound debate. But that's not what they're doing. And that shows us that their motive isn't the truth. Their motive is politicking. Their motive is glad handing and making connections, and whether it's for power or money or prestige, whatever it might be, they've got some ulterior motive that isn't the truth, because they aren't acting as men who care about the truth and who care about speaking the truth clearly and explicitly to other people.